Good morning. It's Friday, September 3rd. And yesterday I read an article about the FBI and Jews. Jews are number one on one of their main lists. Now I know that we have been number one in the world in many areas over our existence. We were ranked among the top scientists in the world. We worked on the Manhattan Project that effectively ended World War II. We were the leaders in the beginnings of the movie industry. We had control of most of the Nickelodeons in New York City. But we were forced to move to California when the anti-Semite Thomas Edison refused to continue to sell us projection equipment. So we arranged to get our projectors from overseas and packed up our bags and moved out to California to establish an industry out there. Mainly, I don't think because we couldn't get the projectors, but because the weather was better out there to shoot our movies. And we have been at the forefront of many, many great things. We write well. We have great philosophers, fine musicians. The list is too long to start mentioning it. But this particular list, latest list, I am sure we do not want to be number one on this latest list. Now, many of you may be frightened by the idea that we are number one on an FBI list. But this is not a list of criminals. This is a list of hatred. A number one on the list of hate crimes. We are the top target for hate crimes. That's one hell of a distinction. And we are not out there crusading on our own behalf. We don't have a movement similar to Black Lives Matter or a movement for LGBTQs. We just go about our business. We are the top rated for hate crimes. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that because that's been our history from the beginning of civilization. Why? The number of incidents were 7,500, over 7,500 hate crimes reported this year. And about 12% of them were related to incidents that involved Jews. But when you take a closer look at the statistics, of the hate crimes, 1,174 of them were religiously motivated hate crimes. And in that category, we account for 57% of the hate crime. So we are hated more than the Muslim, more than the Catholic, more than the Protestant. We are the number one hated religious group in this country. Nothing to be proud of. And again, I say, why? Why are we the chosen people? Another disturbing thing is, I am sure that not every incident is reported. So there are probably many incidents that go unreported because for one reason or another, we have become accustomed to the hatred. Hatred is a horrible word, yet we have become accustomed to it. And that's a bloody shame. We're only 2% of the population in this country. Yet we account for 57% of the religious hate crimes. What have we done to deserve such recognition? I can't answer that question. And these crimes occur all around the country, parks and playgrounds, sometimes your own property. A lot of them are not physical. Many of them just do destruction and damage to some property owned by a Jew or a business that's being run by Jews. Synagogues have graffiti written on their walls. No hate crime is acceptable. They're all heinous, no matter who the target is. And we as Americans should be standing up and defending resolutely any targeted group. Look what happened to the Asian population when our former president started calling it the China virus. For whatever reason in this country, it doesn't take much for the supremacists and extremists to come out of the woodwork and do damage to a segment of our society. Yet, we the Jews account for nearly 60% of the religious bias crimes. Now, there may be some of that caused by the fact that there are many in this country who do not understand the situation in Israel and who feel that we are suppressing the poor Palestinian people beyond what they consider acceptable. And I would say to those people to look at the history. Look at what's happened to the Jewish population in that part of the world. Look at the outside threats that they face constantly. Look at the fact that Hamas and Hezbollah are constantly trying to wipe them off the face of the earth. There are many countries in that region that are trying to do the same thing. Jews defend themselves and take a very strong position in their defense because they are outnumbered probably 50 to 1, or maybe 100 to 1. And that may be a cause of some in this country who are misguided on that situation. But I believe it goes deeper than that. I would take Israel out of the equation and still say that we would have been targeted just because we are Jewish. Because we were targeted before Israel became a country. For many years, we couldn't work in certain industries because we were Jewish. I remember getting a degree in accounting and knowing that certain big 8 firms would not hire me because of my religion. And I'm not particularly religious, but I'm a Jew, and I'm proud to be a Jew. So it upsets me that we are number 1 on the FBI's list, right list. We should be number 1 on lists for other reasons beyond being one of the most hated communities in the world. And the FBI has issued a warning that anti-Semitism is a rising threat. And that's a frightening thing because I would have hoped that it hit its peak a long time ago. The FBI report said that fighting Jew hatred in America must become a national priority. It must be bipartisan and cross-communal. And I hope it happens, but I strongly doubt it. Maybe it's just human nature that you have to have somebody to look down on and kick around. We're the ones who have been there for centuries. So that's all I have to say this morning. I wish you a good day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.